Hello there and welcome to the second part of this huge crazy review. One thing is for sure, if you're here for the second part of this review, and especially if you watched the whole first part of it, you are an addict and I welcome you, thank you. I really want to know that I'm not alone in this crazy love I have for these chess pieces, or chess pieces in general. On this hand, House of Staunton Championship Series 3 3/4 inch king, boxwood and rosewood. And in here, Wholesale chess, classic chess pieces, also in 3 3/4 inch king, also in boxwood and rosewood. As I mentioned in the first video, this is not about which vendor is better, this is about what we get as consumers in terms of quality. It could be said, if all things are, in terms of pricing are equal, with the previous set that I reviewed, you can watch the first part of this video, House of Staunton took the lead on that one a little bit. But seriously, very, very close between the two sets. On this case, I think it's just they're equally as good, typically at a more affordable price with the folks at Wholesale Chess. And as a matter of fact, if there going to be some preference, some decisions that you have to be making based on your preferences, that might make you lean one way or the other. You can decide for Wholesale Chess or House of Staunton, aside from the cost of the pieces. So let's begin with the application. These pieces, I think, will fit most roles, blitz, tournaments, of course, championships. We have seen these pieces being used in all of those scenarios, and they serve admirably, don't they? Now, one of my concerns with these two sets are the bases. I find them to be just a little bit narrow. Could be a little bit wider if it were up to me. So, would I prefer them as my first choice for fast blitz play? And the answer is no, because I'm fortunate enough to have other sets that will provide me a little bit more stability. But I think these ones would serve in that role very adequately, despite my crazy preferences. That's what I'm trying to say. So it goes without saying, like I said, I guess before, championship, tournament play, all those good old applications, these pieces would do just fine, and they have for a long time already. How about the design and flow? What I like about, in terms of design of these sets, I'm gonna move one out of the way and bring other pieces from the set. What I really, really like is that they're neutral. That's how I see them. Once again, keep in mind that this is just could be all in my head, right? I see them as there's no piece in this set that really stands out. It's just designed, in my opinion, to get the job done, which is play chess and not get him confused or anything like that. They're designed to be sturdy. You can see that in every piece, the way they're designed. I find that these pieces will be very hard to break. So yeah, neutral design. Now House of Staunton has stylized their pawns a bit more than the ones that we find with wholesale chess. Here are the two different pawns. A little bit, right? These ones remind me a lot of the pawns that you get in the House of Staunton's Zagreb chess series, if I'm remembering right. So yeah, but other than that, essentially the same set. Between the two, you could say that House of Staunton, the queens have the crowns, I guess, have a little bit more flair, if you can tell there, and they do vary very slightly from piece to piece. I get the feeling that the queen here on this side, House of Staunton's queen, is a tiny bit taller, but just by a hair. How about the oops, sorry. So that's for quality, for the sign and flow. You know, flow refers to when I see the pieces, do they all fit one design? Well, kind of, and maybe not, because if I were to swap this bishop for this other bishop, I don't think anybody would complain about it. I don't think anybody would notice. I mean, sure, you would notice they're different, but you wouldn't think, oh, you know, this bishop just doesn't fit into the sign like this one does. I mean, that's just my opinion. Same thing if I swapped, say, pawns. Like, okay, yeah, sure. So that pawn belongs in that set. You look at this other pawn and, yeah, that one does too. Alright, tonight, guys, is the night of me banging this tripod, so sorry about that. How about craftsmanship and finish? And here is where things, I think, get a little bit interested, because as we talked about in the previous video, House of Staunton markets as the quality guys, quality above all else, in wholesale chess, the affordable guys, yet UK quality, right? And I think this one exemplifies that exactly. Because you'll pay more for these guys, at least towards the end of 2014, if you bought them from House of Staunton. And I did find a couple of things with the finish and the craftsmanship. Let's begin with craftsmanship. Now we're gonna get really picky here, and I'm sure some of you might be thinking, dude, you're just freaking crazy. Number one thing I notice here, look at the chip on the lip. That's the way they came from. Hopefully this is focusing from House of Staunton. Yeah, so that's, you know, somebody saw that and didn't care. And then, how about this? Can you see that difference in the cuts? The body of the knight. Now you look at the knight like this and you probably think, I don't notice, I would never notice. You're right, but that's what separates normal people like you and crazy addicts, OCD driven people like myself. So that's the craftsmanship from the typically more expensive House of Staunton set. The knights do have two different patterns here on the mane of the horse, and the eyes have a little dot, so they add a little bit more detail. Let me show you the one by Wholesale Chess. No dot in the eye, and a more simplistic, arguably more simple mane. But how about the bottom? I think Wholesale Chess did a better job. Finish is arguably about the same, perhaps a bit shinier on this whole House of Staunton set than the one from Wholesale Chess. But I wouldn't consider this finish to be any stronger or better than this one. Now something interesting I noticed on the dark pieces. These are the quality wooden chessmen. No, I'm sorry, classic wooden chessmen by Wholesale Chess. Very dark, rich rosewood and very uniform in color from piece to piece. It's almost as if they grab one piece of wood with a very similar color throughout and they carved all the pieces from it. I was extremely happy with that. See, again, we look at the finish. Look at that, almost perfect. No chipped lip. Very good. Wholesale Chess. If I could, I would give you a big high five on their craftsmanship. But going back to finish, okay, and this is just a little bit off topic, is the color on the wood. When the craftsman was selecting the wood for these pieces, he really did, you can tell he put extra effort into selecting similar color. Or maybe he didn't have a choice, who knows, but that's what you get with Wholesale Chess. How about with the championship pieces from House of Staunton? Well, maybe you don't get exactly the same. So now this is what you would decide. Something to note between Wholesale Chess and House of Staunton is that I believe the pieces from House of Staunton have a more defined, perhaps you could even say or argue, more beautiful pattern in the grain. I mean, if you love the grain pattern, the lines and everything, then you might want to go and buy the set from House of Staunton. But if your thing is you want to see a consistent tone throughout all the pieces, then you might want to go with Wholesale Chess. And here's why. Because some of the pieces are quite a bit lighter in color, yet ever so beautiful in terms of the grain, than the ones from Wholesale Chess. So do you like the beautiful, awesome grain, maybe not as consistent in color? Or do you like the consistency in color at the expense of some of the grain in the wood? That's for you to decide. That's something to note. And like I said, if you notice that, or if you have something you look at when you go for a chess set, then you and I, my friend, have something in common, and that's we're both mental. So weight and balance. The weight on the Wholesale Chess pieces is 2.7 pounds or 1 kilo 110 grams. House of Staunton chess pieces is 2 pounds 15 ounces. So quite a bit more at 1 kilogram 336 grams. So if you like the heavier piece, sure, go with you might get a little more weight typically with House of Staunton. Unfortunately for me, though, at least as far as I'm concerned, I don't believe weight necessarily equates to stability. Stability is a relationship, as far as I have noticed, between the weight and the diameter of the base. So given that these two sets have roughly same size bases for all their pieces, the difference in weight I don't think really adds to that much more stability. If anything, it just adds more weight. And if you have to carry these pieces around, if you like I've done with my club chess bag and my chess pieces and my board and my clock, and have to go around places, weight might be something you might want to consider. Okay, so a little bit more weight on the House of Staunton chess pieces. How about the king heights? For the House of Staunton championship, the king height is 3.76 inches tall. So they're sold as 3 3/4, and these are just a hair taller than that. Here's the guys from House of Staunton. That's 9.56 centimeters. How about the diameter of the base? 1.45 inches or 3.69 centimeters for the Championship King or House of Staunton Chess King. That corresponds to 38.5% of the total height of the king for the diameter of the base. Meaning, if we were to go with the standards by FIDE and United States Chess Federation, these are not really compliant with that. Although I don't care, I'm just pointing it out. How about Wholesale Chess King? Its height 3.8, so a tiny bit taller than House of Staunton's king. 9.6 centimeters. The base a little bit smaller than that one in the king from House of Staunton at 1.41 inches or 3.60 centimeters or 3.6 centimeters. That corresponds to 37.5% in diameter in relation to the height of the king. Now if you're wondering why are you so concerned about those dimensions, well, not really, I'm not concerned. I'm just pointing out that according to both vendors, these pieces meet all tournament requirements. But unfortunately, according to the book, they don't. Here's let me show you. This is I copied this from the PDF version of the FIDE's handbook, official handbook. It says the diameter of the king's base should measure 40 to 50% of its height. So it's them saying it, not me. Same thing we see here. I finally got the book. This is if you're wondering, United States, the U.S. There we go. U.S. Chess Federation's official rules of chess. And if you flip to page 236, it talks about. See if I can get this in the frame. Chess pieces. It talks about materials, size. Pretty much everything is exactly the same as FIDE's standards, except that they talk about the cross or finial in relation to the total height of the king. But again, if you look in there, it says the diameter of the king's base should be 40 to 50% of the height. What's also interesting is that it talks at the bottom there, on this paragraph here, it says, the most commonly used tournament set is the U.S. Chess Federation Special, an inexpensive plastic set with 3 3/4 inch king, also sold elsewhere under various names. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, they're referring to these good old guys. And I will have to measure these guys and see if these ones happen to, the bases happen to correspond to their standards. Well, that's going off topic, sorry about that. But these guys here, if you want to be really, really picky, and they probably do not exactly. But is anybody ever going to complain? I doubt it. We see these pieces all over the place. And with good reason. They're beautiful, and they do a good job of allowing those great minds to just destroy each other on the chessboard. How about, I wanted to leave this for the end of the second part, so I didn't bother you with, on the first video, replacement availability. Well, I'm pretty sure you can find replacements for these pieces from both vendors. About resemblance to photographs for this particular set. Yes, you can say they do closely resemble what you see in the pictures. I believe that because they're they're a lower price point in terms of like all the other chess pieces and their cost, I think maybe they certainly did put forth their best pictures, the best sets, and that's, you can tell. But these are still extremely good, beautiful, and they resemble those pictures quite nicely. Okay, have a likability scale. Let me bring the other guys back here. I'll get all these guys out of the way for just a moment. Championship slash classic. I'll say a solid 7 out of 10. I love these pieces. And how about their club slash club 2 slash quality chess pieces? Another 7 out of 10. So this is my double set review for you guys. I apologize about the mistakes. I'm sure if I catch them, I will fix them on the annotation. As you can tell, English is not my first language. That's an extra layer of difficulty for me. Not to mention going back and forth between sets, the different names and the manufacturers and their sizes and everything else. I'm sure I made a couple mistakes here and there. Bear with me, I'm going to get better as time goes. My challenge for you is that you make your own videos and show what you have, because as I already stated, I am a total addict. I love these chess pieces. I like to see what you have, your collections, and what you have to say and share about how you view these what I would almost consider amazing little pieces of art. Okay, so long for now. Hopefully I will be able to make another video soon. Never know, I have a busy job. We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks. Cheers. Hello there, and welcome to the second part of this huge crazy review. One thing is for sure, if you're here for the second part of this review, and especially if you watched the whole first part of it, you are an addict, and I welcome you. Thank you. I really want to know that I'm not alone in this crazy love I have for these chess pieces, or chess pieces in general. On this hand, House of Staunton Championship Series 3 3/4 inch king, boxwood and rosewood. And in here, Wholesale chess, classic chess pieces, also in 3 3/4 inch king, also in boxwood and rosewood. As I mentioned in the first video, this is not about which vendor is better, this is about what we get as consumers in terms of quality. It could be said, if all things are, in terms of pricing are equal, with the previous set that I reviewed, you can watch the first part of this video, House of Staunton took the lead on that one a little bit. But seriously, very, very close between the two sets. On this case, I think it's just they're equally as good, typically at a more affordable price with the folks at Wholesale Chess. And as a matter of fact, if there are going to be some preference, some decisions that you have to be making based on your preferences that might make you lean one way or the other. You can decide for Wholesale Chess or House of Staunton, aside from the cost of the pieces.